So it took me a handful of hours with my little chainsaw to get all of this cut up. I don't know exactly what a tandem carries log-wise in full cords. My estimate is like 6.5, 7, something like that. It sure seems like I have a lot more than that, but we'll see when we fill up that woodshed because I know exactly what it holds. I spent the better part of, I'm gonna say about 8 hours of work in total over say about 3 days, and I got all of this into round form. It's kind of hard to show you exactly how much we've got going on, but I have 2 piles in the back and this pile here. So what we're gonna do is grab these rounds now, put them up on the Eastonmade and split them up, convey them right into the woodshed and stack them. For a one-man operation, this is a fair bit of work. In a perfect world, I would have somebody loading me up, somebody operating the machine, and somebody stacking at the same time. But the world isn't perfect, so here we are. So we're gonna chip away and try and get at it. We'll see what kind of a dent we can put into this pile today. You're gonna notice that the Eastonmade axis is in a much better position than in the last video. And like I said in the last video, it was positioned where it was because I actually had a big mound of ice and snow and I just parked it where it was. I could have adjusted it by the time I got to making the video, but I just never did. So I learned a valuable lesson. Now it's parked right up at the shed and it's gonna launch straight in and make piling a little bit easier. Obviously I added some effort because I had to move the piles and stack and carry and drag it all over, so this will be much better. You guys had a lot of questions about this unit and I will answer them at the end of the video because by the time this pile is done, I will be returning this unit to Eastonmade in Perth and I'll be dragging it back. But there was a lot of great questions and my experience with it as a rookie woodhound as it is. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by doing some maintenance. We're gonna check some fluids, probably scrape off some of that bird poop, and then put some grease on this beam. We're gonna get to work. Well, how much wood did we do? We did 3 rows of 8 by 8 by 16, 8 by 8 feet, 16-inch long, and then another 3/4 of that same row. I don't know what that adds up to. I can do some math later, but basically where I'm sitting, everywhere you see sawdust on this side of the log was rounds about 4 feet tall, and I still have another cord of wood there at least, and I don't know what that pile is over there, but I've got a ton of wood. I'm actually thinking I might run out of room on that side of the woodshed. I might have to pour over to the equipment side. Yeah, I've been cleaning up sawdust, stacking the wood, picking up chips, burning it, doing a lot of the work that I'm going to do afterwards anyway. A lot of work, but I can tell you that this wood splitter is pretty awesome. Like, you can get some really precision wood, and I know I mentioned it last time, but out of all the different kinds of wood that I've got here, I've managed to kind of figure it out. I know how to navigate knots and all these different things, which is probably unique to vertical splitters. I'm getting pretty good at seeing the knots on the pieces, and I know how to navigate around them to make sure that I get the most pieces without having to navigate through a knot. Because I'm pretty picky about my wood. I'm a little bougie. If it's ugly or not the right shape or not the right length or size, I just burn it. I get rid of it. But yeah, I can definitely maximize my wood, and it looks really good in that wood shed. I'm starting to get tired, and I try to be safe, especially with any equipment. But with this vertical splitter, you start getting lazy and complacent, and then you get in trouble. I learned a valuable lesson a long time ago when I was roofing as a kid, which now that I think of it, can you roof as a kid anymore? It's probably illegal now. Anyway, when I was roofing as a kid, I had this boss, and he looked at me and he said, if you get comfy, that's when you get hurt. So if you get comfortable with being on the roof, you get comfortable with equipment, you start getting complacent, or you get tired, or you just start ignoring things for the sake of getting stuff done, that's when you get hurt. So that's the same with any piece of equipment, and it's the same with this vertical splitter. So I'm at that point now where, I think I'll call it a day. I'll still clean up, and I'll, move some rounds closer, stuff like that, but that's kind of where I'm at. First question from Dave301. Where are these splitters made? I noticed the Made in Canada stickers. So it is made in Canada. It's made in Perth. It's Eastonmade. That's the actual name of the company, Eastonmade Wood Splitters. So they are in Perth, Ontario. Yes, they are Canadian. So next question is from Summers. He asks, why don't you use a 4-way wedge on that machine? I've seen 4-way wedges on vertical splitters. Not a fan. I think that's the first way you're going to start catching thumbs and fingers and stuff like that. You already have to be careful wood splitting in any scenario, and I don't think the 4-way wedge is the way to go. And on top of that, this wood splitter is designed to, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but make very precise wood. So if you're a bundle wood person, or you're specifically targeting wood like cherry or hickory or something like that for restaurants or smokers, then this machine is perfect for making those products. It's not necessarily made for bulk, but you can do bulk wood with it if you so choose. So yeah, I don't know if the 4-way wedge is the way to go with this, although I have seen one brand use it. I just can't remember what it was. Wild and Stable asks, how much do these cost? You'll have to go to their website, but off the top of my head, I think it's like 17,000 or something Canadian for the base unit without the conveyor. And I can tell you right now that the conveyor isn't needed unless you're going to do like bins or trailer or loading it into something. The way I'm using it right now is almost silly, because I can honestly just throw the wood where it's going anyway. Where it becomes useful is if you're going conveyor into a big pile, or you're going to put it in the back of a truck or a trailer or a tote or something like that. So you can save a lot of money on the conveyor, which I think is another couple $1,000 options. You can definitely be over 20,000 Canadian for this product, I'm pretty sure. The log lift is standard, but I think the conveyor is optional. The next question is from Joe, and Joe asks, when it comes to splitting, I see you split a lot of clean product, but what about the knotty pieces? How does it handle it? It honestly drives right through the knotty pieces like it doesn't exist. If you actually line a piece up right on a knot, you can rip right through it like it's not even there. You do have to be careful with vertical splitters because sometimes you can actually have it kick out. So you get really good at making sure your pieces are cut straight, first of all. But if you see a knot, you have to position it in a certain way. If you have a slight angle on the bottom or the top that actually pitches the wood, you have to make sure you do that right to make sure it doesn't kick out. This can happen on many different splitters, but it does happen on this as well. But yeah, as far as handling knots and stuff, rips right through. Just be careful. Al asks, how long do you have the unit? It is a demo unit. If you didn't catch that in the first video, this is not my unit. I will not be keeping it. I'd love to, but the honest truth is it's not in the budget right now. And knowing what I know now, as nice as this would be to have, I think I'm probably going to go with something a little more traditional and more affordable. They have something called the Ultra, which is right up my alley. I think I'm going to end up going there. Normally, I wouldn't do this much wood in one shot. I only did it because I knew I was getting this demo. I normally do a couple logs at a time here and there, and over the year you have all your wood. But yeah, I will be returning this as of right now, I think in 2 to 3 weeks. So more than enough time to get all of this wood done, clean it up, service it, and bring it back. But yeah, I think you'll see me pick up probably one of their smaller units. But at this point, with a woodshed stacked like this, and I'll probably be pouring out, I don't think I'm going to need much splitting for a little while. I'll be way ahead for quite a bit of time. Anyway, guys, that's it for the questions. That's all I had from the last video. If you have any more questions, leave them down below, and I'll make sure to answer them in the follow-up. But I really thought I was going to put more of a dent in this. But I have a ton of wood left. Like what I did today, I have 2 more identical days like today for sure if I'm doing it alone. So I've got probably 10 more hours or so to finish this up. Also, I got to get a new chain because as you can tell, I'm not done cutting a few of these logs. I actually smoked a chain pretty hard. I must have hit a rock going through the bottom or something like that. So I'm going to bring that in, see if it's savable at the steel shop, and maybe get a new one. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I can't wait to get out on the trails. They actually open up in 8 days as of recording this video. I don't know when it's actually going to get out, probably the next couple days, but yeah, pretty freaking awesome. If you want to check these Eastonmade splitters out, I'll leave a link down below for you guys, and we'll see you guys next time.